So, hi everyone, my name is Kiko. I have been on a high raw vegan diet for over 20 years now. And today I have a super guest for you guys. Her name is Eva. Eva from Germany. Yeah,
Hi.
so, yes, Eva, I have been following her on her Instagram. She's so inspiring. She's got such interesting and inspiring content, and she has been following medical medium. And I've also discovered that she has a long run YouTube channel, which is really well done as well. So I'm going to share all the details on the description. But let me welcome Eva. Eva, welcome.
Thank you. It's so nice being here and chatting with you.
It's so lovely to be able to connect with you, and I was so honored when you said that yes to be on my channel. Um, and this channel, it's not it will be in English, of course. It will be speaking in English, but I have an option that I activated in that people can see the Japanese subtitle.
Wow.
So yeah, there are some Japanese people who have been reaching me out to say that how much they enjoy watching and inspired for this kind of living lifestyle, because it's very rare here in Japan. So yes, I'm really happy to have you. So Eva, would you like to just briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Eva and I'm from Germany, as Kiko said. I basically lived in Germany my whole life. Only for a half a year, I once lived in the United States during an internship, and it was a really amazing time. And 2014, I changed my lifestyle or diet to eat raw vegan. And ever since then, I kind of stick to that because it makes me feel my best.
Mm. Well, that was you know, this is
Just a
something
quick
that,
introduction.
yes, and this is something I always I admire of you, Eva, because when I watch your reel or Instagram, Facebook, you're very organized and get to the point, and I appreciate that. So yeah, so would you like to share like how you discovered first this raw vegan diet?
More or less by coincidence, I did a cooking kind of contest in Germany with a famous chef. And there I met some Asian girls, and they told me about Instagram. And I should really get it because you can get a lot of food inspirations there and you will absolutely love it. So I installed the app and then it was browsing it. Christina and Freely the Banana Instagram. And that kind of convinced me about this lifestyle. I've heard about eating raw vegan before, but in Germany it was always like eating a lot of sprouts and nutty stuff, and all always with really small portions. And yeah, not a lot of food on your plate, and it never kind of spoke to me. And then I saw Fully Raw Christina with her big plates and big salads, colorful meals, and that totally convinced me to try it out.
So you were into cooking before?
Yeah, but I've always been very health cautious, so I never ate a lot of meat. If so, then only chicken and sometimes fish, but usually I ate a lot of vegetables and sometimes fruit.
Mm. Did you say you went on a cooking competition, or
Yeah,
so you were participating competitor like a
yeah.
person? Oh wow!
I won it on. There was something on a magazine where you could apply for it with your recipe,
Oh
and then
wow!
I sent them the recipe and got accepted. And then I think we were about 8 people or so that were all doing different dishes, and the chef tried everything and decided who's kind of the winner of everything.
Oh wow! What did you prepare on that competition?
Back then, I made kind of in Germany it's called Pumpernickel. I don't know if you ever heard it. It's a dark bread that's
Oh
almost
yes.
kind of black. And that was the first layer. Then I made some chickpea layer, some almost like hummus, some grated beet, grated carrots, and avocado. And that's kind of a tower that built up on itself with different spices and herbs.
Oh wow. That's amazing. So you made the bread by yourself?
No, you can buy it in Germany. It's
I
a
Yes, I know this.
special kind of bread.
Right. I love this. I used to buy this a lot when I was living in New York and also in Europe. It's a very kind of dense and moist, and I like this kind of bread. Oh my God, that's so interesting. That's why your recipes are very unique and creative. So that kind of makes sense that you were always inspired to cook.
Yeah.
And so when you change your diet to raw vegan, did you feel limited with the ingredients or how did you feel?
But at first, when I started, I did the banana mono cleanse, or back then it was called Banana Island from Freely the Banana Girl, when I only ate bananas for a few days. But I soon realized that only bananas is kind of too sweet for me, and I need something kind of to balance it out with greens or vegetables. And then I started trying out some recipes from Fully Raw Christina and got really excited about because there was so much new stuff that I could try that yeah, I totally didn't really miss anything else besides that.
Oh,
But of
wow.
course, I also got cravings when I always ate with my parents and my grandma, and she was always cooking the regular meals. And when you have that smell, then it's kind of hard to eat sweet stuff or your kind of stuff when you have the well-known smells of other foods.
Hmm. Yeah, I can totally relate to that. And so you have changed your diet because of your digestive issues and chronic constipation. And then I'm just assuming that worked out really well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never realized it until I changed my diet, how much constipation I experienced. But once I changed my diet, it kind of just being on the banana island for 3 days, or after 1 or 2 days, I already realized how good it does my digestive system.
Digestive issue was one of my major issues for me as well. And I published an ebook this year, and in that book, I shared my constipation story when I was small. And there were times that I only had stool bowel movement once a month.
Wow. For me, it was once a week, maybe something like that, but it's not very good either.
Yeah, no, it's like once you know how it's supposed to work, you understand. But yeah, I grew up with that. Like all my teenage years were like that. So yeah,
Wow.
it's so so you went on that diet because it worked out really well for you. And then this today's topic, your skin issues that you had, you actually experienced the severe skin issues, rosacea, after being raw vegan. Would you like to share on that?
Yeah, that was really kind of a crazy time for me because I was already eating a raw vegan diet for 2 years. I started 2014, and then by the end of 2016, I experienced a lot of styes in my eyelids, left and right, and they really lingered for a long time, and it was hard getting rid of them. And one of them even got encapsulated, so I had to get it cut out by a doctor. That's something I would never do again.
Oh,
And yeah, and he also told me that I have a really reddish skin, and I should check with a skin doctor if it's, or it could be rosacea. I've never heard of rosacea before. I didn't even know what it was. But it kind of got worse month by month. And by the end of 2016, my face, as I said it back then, it looked like a clown because I also got some acne. And then I was really red around the nose and on the cheeks and had some acne pimples. And I was really unhappy because I thought I was already eating the most healthy diet one can eat. And then I get rosacea and acne and styes. How could that happen? But looking back on that time, I know now that it's because my immune system was very weakened during that time. I had financial issues and was looking for a new job, and it was hard to find a way back into business. And that kind of brought a lot of stress into my life without even realizing it back then. And yeah, that has lowered the immune system so much that everything of this could come out. And it was not detox, as many people would say. It was just the stress that triggered something that was already there.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's so it's tricky to find out if you're going through detox symptom or if it's something else, right? Like we are living in our air, like our environment is not clean.
Yeah.
So we start like wondering like what could it be. So did you have anyone close to you who were doing the same diet?
No,
None.
I was always kind of on my own. My family was eating different and still is. They're eating a lot different than normal people, I would say, because they're already a lot into vegan eating and don't eat a lot of animal products because of my inspirations. But everyone else around me is eating differently. I only had kind of friends that I connected to on Instagram that did the same diet. But mostly I knew what I was doing, what made me feel my best. So I kept on going and just changed things as I realized that before I got rosacea, I always ate a high fruit diet and didn't incorporate a lot of leafy greens into my diet because obviously fruits always taste best.
It's more
And you don't
attractive
really want to
to.
eat all the greens.
Oh,
So
now
that,
now I see your Instagram. You always drink a huge like very dark green juice on a daily basis, is it?
yeah. And in the past, when I started back in 2016 to change things up, I incorporated one green smoothie per day into my lifestyle. Instead of doing a fruit meal, I did the green smoothie and challenged myself. I think for half a year I did it, and even sometimes after that, to get in more leafy greens. And also for dinner, lots of leafy greens. And I stopped drinking fruit-based juices or just fruit juices. And if I made green juices, then it was always with more vegetables in it. And nowadays, I kind of, before I made more green smoothies when I started, and now that juicers have kind of evolved and got better, I'm making a lot of green juices because they're even easier to digest.
Yeah, I saw your YouTube posts on comparison of different juicer, and I really appreciate that. I have Omega juicer, and I've had quite a few different juicers, and I don't have Nama juicer, but that was really nice to be able to see what I have and what you have for future reference. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're mostly using Nama or going
I
back?
use as I have a different juicers because I'm promoting them. I always kind of switch through and try out different juicers to see which one does better. And also, yeah, see how the outcome is and share with people how they work.
I see. Okay, so now you have it's been since 2016. You started to include more greens and maybe in the form of juice, and do you do smoothies as well?
Yeah, back then I did green smoothies. Nowadays I kind of instead of having a fruit meal, I eat a salad
Mm.
and then have the green juice where I incorporate more detoxing greens that are not so nice to eat, let's say.
Well, you can definitely intake a lot more in green juice form than eating, and it takes a long time. I love salad, and I get excited eating a huge quantity of green salad, but it takes a long time to.
Yeah.
So once you incorporated more greens into your diet, what was the difference you saw? Did you see any difference?
Yeah, it took me about, I think, 3 months to see some progress when my skin didn't start to blow up every 2 weeks or flare up every 2 weeks. And after 6 months, I've gotten kind of to a point where things were getting pretty much better. And then after a year, my rosacea kind of was gone. And I only got the red skin when I went to the Caribbean in the sun and had a sunburn. That's when my skin turned really red. But other than that, my skin is back to normal. I sometimes get some acne pimples, like right now, but that's only every now and then, so I can live with it.
Mm-hmm. And like now that you have acne, do you know what's the cause for it?
As I have read a lot of medical medium books, I know that it is streptococcus, and you can always catch it up again just by touching a doorknob and then touching your face, or
It's a virus.
obviously when you're traveling a lot. No, it's bacteria.
Bacteria. Okay. Okay, so you don't what does he recommend when you have that bacteria?
But the best foods against streptococcus is obviously celery juice, as he always recommends for everything, kind of. And you can make what I did during COVID was I made a turmeric ginger garlic shot with orange juice, ginger, turmeric, and garlic in it. And sometimes I also added fresh herbs like thyme and rosemary to kind of kill off that bacteria or viruses.
Mm-hmm. You also incorporated oregano oil, right?
Yeah, that one too.
Mm-hmm. So you
Because
do
I already heard back then that it's good against viruses and bacteria.
So you've actually worked a lot. Like you have done so many different ways uh, to heal this rosacea that you are having, and it's not just
Yeah.
one thing that you were working on, but quite a few things that you have incorporated and maybe eliminated.
Yeah, I also did not just the diet part, I also had a health coach back then, and she was working with me on the emotional part. Like when you're experiencing rosacea and acne, and you're kind of working and have to go out to interact with people, and you kind of feel uncomfortable because of your skin,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of does something with you. So to clear up all the emotions, I worked with a coach, and yeah, that's also, I think, something that has helped me.
Okay. And uh, so for you, the time that so it was 2016, it started to appear this rosacea, and then it was within a year or so that you have cleared your skin, is it?
Yeah, I think nowadays I might have gotten a hold of it even faster, because back then I didn't know all of the medical medium information that is out there right now. There was no 369 cleanse or morning cleanse and other things, supplements that are available right now. And with those supplements, maybe things could have healed a little bit quicker.
And so you have celery juice every day, all year round?
Pretty much, yes. Only right now, during summertime, it's hard to find good celery sometimes. And then I'm kind of have to pause it or skip it for a few days.
What do you, what's your replacement juice?
Fennel juice, definitely, because it kind of also has that savory taste. And I love the licorice flavor.
Yeah,
So
they're
I
sweet
find it's
and so
pretty
good.
similar.
Oh, fantastic. Was it you who shared the sun artichoke juice? You do that
Yeah.
sometimes as well. Yeah, I would have never imagined doing that, because when you eat it, because you've eaten it raw before, the sun
Yeah, it's
artichoke.
very crunchy and nutty.
Yeah, and it's also bitter. Like you have, if I eat it, because I have it in my I have them in my garden. If I eat it, it's very bitter, and so I would have to add a lot of salt to be able to eat it raw. So maybe
The
it's
ones I had were not bitter. They were just kind of sweet and nutty.
so it might be different. Like I know, for example, sweet potato here in Japan, there are different varieties, and I know the ones that you guys get in Europe and in the States, it's more like a carrot, sweet, like a starchy carrot. And
Yeah.
here we don't. I've tried raw version, and it was horrible. It was like, yeah, it was. I would not. It actually ruins the recipe because it's so different here in Japan.
And they are more on the white side, so a little bit lighter in color. And also, when you cook them, are they kind of also firm or more kind of crumbling up like
It's
the
firm.
orange sweet potatoes?
But the orange potato is like more watery, right? When you cook it,
Yeah.
uh, it's this the most popular or like easily found varieties here as sweet potatoes. They are, yeah, it's more like potato, like a, yeah, white potato. It's
But with a sweeter taste to it.
when you cook it, it's very, very sweet. I think it's much sweeter than the one that you get in the, yeah, it's when you cook it, it's the best tasting one.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, to eat it raw, I've tried it in so many ways, and yeah, it's completely different. Yeah, it's very starchy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the orange sweet potatoes over here also don't taste as sweet if you eat them raw. If you cook them, they're very sweet and delicious, but if you eat them raw, there's not really much sweetness. It's more like a carrot, as you said. A
Ah,
carrot is even sweeter than a sweet potato here.
okay. Yeah, I've been 100% raw, so I don't eat cooked sweet potatoes. But yeah, they are when they are grilled, they like grilling here in Japan, and you can find it anywhere. And they're very, very sweet. I used to depend on that whenever I travel, because yeah, it's a good source of calorie.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't eat a lot of cooked potatoes, or I don't eat cooked potatoes neither. I only use sweet potatoes when I'm making a broth during the winter time, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when I sometimes try a bit.
Mm-hmm. So now you have been on the raw vegan diet since 2014, is it right?
Yeah,
And there was a time that you were fully raw vegan. How,
mostly yes.
most of the time you were fully raw vegan.
Well, the only exception that I would say was kind of like 95% raw vegan is I use tomato paste sometimes and dried fruits, and that's not always as considered as a raw food. that's what kind of you could say I'm not 100% raw, but still mostly raw.
Oh, even now.
Nowadays, since I think 2 or 3 years, I also started to add some kind of cooked foods to my dinner. Sometimes when I feel like it, but I still always feel my best when I eat raw. So the only thing I do is kind of I steam some broccoli or cauliflower sometimes. Or right now, artichokes are in season, so every now and then I have one. And eating it raw is kind of complicated.
Artichoke was my favorite food to eat when I was living in France because we don't get it here in Japan. It's very rare to get it here in Japan. And yeah, I used to love artichoke, but the vegetables are quite different in where we live. So what you mentioned that you like eating, you feel the best being fully raw, and why would you add cooked food then?
Where back then, when I had my skin issues, I also tried it. But I always noticed that as cooked foods digest slower and they're not as hydrating, that my skin wasn't doing that well when I incorporate something like cooked foods. So I kind of stood away from it. And nowadays, whenever I kind of see something, or sometimes you don't want to eat your broccoli like hard and crunchy, you want it to be kind of soft. So that's when I'm kind of steaming it or freezing and defrosting it. That's also a good option to get a vegetable in a softer consistency. And yeah, I always go with the flow. Whenever I think I can handle it, then I incorporate it. But still, my digestion works best if I eat fully raw.
So you don't eat out in a restaurant?
Not really. If I do, then I really have to know where I'm going. And it's always hard to find option because if you eat a salad, you always have kind of the fear of the chef having handled some meat beforehand and then making your salad and something ends up in your salad. So whenever I eat out, it's more like getting a smoothie somewhere or a juice, but not really going out and eating cooked foods.
So there are not too many. Are there any raw vegan restaurants in your area?
Not really. And if there were, then raw vegan restaurants always use a lot of nuts and seeds and sometimes also oils. And I'm eating fat-free since 2019 because my body doesn't do well on fats. And yeah, it's kind of really difficult for me to find options as I'm eating raw vegan and fat-free and salt-free. That's not always easy.
You don't eat nuts either now?
No, since 2019. I always ate kind of a very low-fat diet compared to other people because I always realized that this would kind of slow down my digestion. And since 2019, I tried it out for a few weeks to go fat-free, and it worked really well. And since then, I kind of stay that way.
Wow. May I ask how old you are now?
I'm turning 39 this year.
Okay. Do you think your diet you needed to adjust because of your age transition?
I don't think it has to do with age. It's more kind of, after reading all the medical medium books, it's about the health of your liver and digestive system. Some people have a bit more, have a higher toxic or pathogen load, and then the liver is more clogged up and sluggish, and that kind of slows down things and makes it more that you have to change dietary things.
Mm,
And of course, when you age, the older you get, the more toxins can accumulate in your liver, and then you also kind of notice that you have to change things to make them work.
mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I can see that you have studied well on his teachings. So you have learned about medical mediums teachings through his books, or is there any other things that you have learned?
I won his first book on Instagram back in 2016, I think,
You won.
or 15.
You won.
Yeah,
Uh-huh,
yeah,
interesting.
that was kind of a great coincidence. And I saw it as a sign that this book and information is meant for me to read and hear more about. And back then, I also listened to all the podcasts because they were really helpful.
Mm,
And whenever a new book came out, I got it and browsed through it to get the new information. And I think especially the liver book and the cleanse to heal book brought a lot of clarity and even more information out that totally where you can kind of see things that others might not see when you have read all the information, and then you observe people and
mm,
realize, hey, that's a sign for this and that's a sign for that.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, so what are you drinking? Is that the ginger lemon water?
Yeah,
And that's raw also. It's not tea.
mostly raw. I most people add honey to it,
Mm.
but I am sometimes sensitive to honey, so I always add grape juice, and that's a grape juice that I bought in the store, so it's not raw, but the rest of the ingredients are kind of raw.
Yeah. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I think it's important that we find our rhythm of, what's raw. Because, I mean, who is fully raw vegan anyway? Because, I mean, a lot of raw vegans use maple syrup, cashew nuts, and all the nuts actually. They are technically not raw anymore because once they're out of the shell, they have to heat it so that there's no fungus, right? Mold
Yeah.
created. Um, okay, so um, for social gathering, what do you do?
I usually bring my own stuff, so I don't mind if there is nothing for me kind of in the social gathering. I just bring my own, and
Hmm.
if I explain it to people, they also understand.
Oh, wow.
I have such a exotic diet and lifestyle that it would be hard for them to kind of prepare stuff.
So, you bring your food, as in, like, if you're invited to someone's house or going to restaurants, is that all of the?
Yeah, sometimes when I go to restaurants too,
And they,
you can call them in advance and ask them, and some of them say yes, you can also bring your own if you have such
mm,
a special needs and intolerances.
mm, and sometime were you turned down? Were you ever turned down to bring your own food?
Mm, not really, because I don't go out a lot, so I don't have a lot of
Mm,
experience, but usually they are kind of open and friendly.
okay. Uh, Ieda, I don't know. Do you see the comments showing up, Eva? Ieda Maria
Yes.
said, I have been suffering from rosacea for decades, even after switching to a vegan, mostly raw diet 10 years ago. About 2 months ago, I had an insight. What if I tried natural hormone replacement? So I started eating tofu 3 times a day, It's working. That's fantastic. It's interesting. I have been on this high raw vegan diet. Most now it's fully raw, but I think all these years I was always looking for the answer, in a way, the answer for everyone. So like, we have a tendency, do this and you're cured. And, now it's becoming more and more clear, and more people like us are sharing. It's really each one of us journey, so it's great that, Ieda, I really appreciate that she shares her story on that. Tofu, who would have thought, right? For me, I tried.
Yeah, for me, definitely
Yeah,
good.
for me, I tried tofu and I didn't feel great. In addition to the tofu, I'm enjoying a simple oil-free raw salad made of sliced cucumbers, sliced red onions, grated carrots, grated beetroot, and chopped cilantro, dressed with lemon juice and shoyu. Oh my God, I'm getting
You're getting hungry.
hungry. That sounds amazing. Actually, I love eating. I don't eat tofu anymore, but I love eating tofu in a huge bowl of salad, green salad. Just adding tofu. That was just, it was just a very easy addition, and it's also, oil free, and you feel so satisfied. So, Eva, I have
Yeah.
another question. And pink salt for dessert, I have fruit. Interesting. A lot of raw vegans eat fruit in the, it's like a religion, right? Like you have to eat fruit before salad or anything heavy. But if that's working for you, that's great. But for Eva, uh, did you? I'm just losing my train of thought. Oh yeah. So if you're oil free and you're avoiding, sweet fruits, or not avoiding, but like, uh,
Nowadays, I can have dates and all the sweet fruits again, as much as I want without my skin breaking out, because I know what other tools I can use to get a hold of
mm,
it, like the garlic turmeric ginger shot and
mm,
more vitamin C and zinc to support my immune system.
mm,
But I crave in the morning when I don't have celery juice. Right now, I'm eating watermelon, so for lunch I'm kind of craving more of a salad instead of fruit.
mm.
But I still have my sweet fruits. I can't live without mango or papaya.
Yeah.
That's something I always have.
We don't get, it's here in Japan, mangoes we could get, maybe in a frozen, during the summer winter time you can get it in frozen section as well, but papaya is something that we don't get easily. And we do produce
Wow.
papaya in southern part of Japan, but it's like a very specific time. So we need more papaya lovers. I think not too many people know about papayas, because like you have to get the good papaya to love it. And when I
Yeah.
first tried papaya here in Japan, it was a delicacy and it was disgusting. It was not ripe. It was crunchy. And it was so expensive as well. So yeah, you have to know the good papaya. And I think most Japanese people don't know what good papaya means. I love them. But yeah, so my question was, um, your calorie intake. Do you ever count on? Have you ever checked on your calorie per day?
Back in the past, I did with Chronometer. It's an app where you can enter whatever you eat, and then you get a display of all the nutrients and vitamins that you get. And I still eat a lot of fruit to get in enough calories and have all the energy because we need
Mm,
glucose. Our brain runs on glucose. So whenever I make a salad, I usually add a fruity dressing.
mm,
So it's kind of sweet, but also savory. And I have enough calories and vitamins from the fruit, but also mineral salts and nutrients from the leafy.
Your recipes are so engineered to perfection. I like watching your Instagram posts because I would have fruits here are not in abundance depending on the season, like kaki season, like persimmon season we have abundance, and
Wow.
orange season we have abundance. But there are times that we don't have that much. We have to depend on imported stuff. So yeah, I was envious when you were using nectarine as a dressing. I think it was a radish.
Yeah.
You just sliced up the radish and 2 nectarines with different kind of herbs. And I say, wow, that looks so good, but I would have never, like not.
Yeah, right now it's nectarine and peach season. We get them from Spain, France, Italy, and you can get them in abundance right now.
Yeah, I remember living in France during the summertime was definitely beautiful. Nectarines, peaches, and yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, and Ieda was saying, I'm so convinced that the isoflavones play a crucial role in this improvement, that I have also started taking 100 mcg isoflavone supplements to reinforce the effect. I now regret avoiding soy products for so long, fearing they were harmful, only to discover that they were the solution all along. But it's great that she found it, and it's again, it's so interesting, and I hope that this reached out to someone who needed that information, because someone might work just adding tofu. That's what a beautiful way, right? Tofu is so versatile. I don't eat it, but yeah, there are some days.
Yeah, me neither.
Yes, and it's everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, especially in Asia, you kind of can't avoid it.
Yeah, we get a fresh tofu in so many variations as well. So yeah,
In
that's
Germany
interesting.
too.
Oh, you do it as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I add the tofu from the package directly into the salad and mix everything together. It's delicious. Yeah, I know. When you mix, yeah, even the packaged one, when I was living in the States, it wasn't the most uh, delicious tofu itself, but mixing in the salad, everything make it taste so good. But here, where I live, we can get. I don't eat tofu, but my husband, he loves eat tofu, and we get the fresh tofu that they make freshly in the morning. So we get that. Yeah. So again, going back to the topic of calorie intake. So how many calories do you think you are taking per day?
I think 1 to 2,000, somewhere in between. But I'm not very tall, so I don't need a lot of calories, as I'm also not exercising a lot. All I do is going for a walk once a day. So I don't need a lot of calories. So most people usually consume way more than I do.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. For juicing, though, for this green juice, one of the challenges that people have is that it becomes more expensive, and that's the case. Like I've done lots of green juice for some time, and it was just becoming uh, just financially. I mean, I could pay, but is it sustainable? Then I had to stop, and I actually didn't see much of a um, benefit. But you were saying that for you it took 3 months to see the benefit,
Yeah.
and every day you
Sometimes we don't see a direct or have an immediate effect, but it piles up over time, and we don't even know what's kind of going on within our body that we don't realize. And usually, when I juice, I know it's expensive because when I was traveling last year and I didn't make celery juice, I noticed how much I spend every month for salary because I was traveling for 3.5 weeks. It's almost 1 month. And within that month, I kind of spent, I think, 100 or 200 bucks less than I usually spend per month. But if I choose leafy greens, it's usually the stuff that ends up in the trash, like carrot greens and radishes greens, and that's very cheap. So if you choose things like that, it's cheap. I also add other produce. For my green juice, I always do the greens and then apple and ginger, and that's it. And apples and those leafy greens are kind of cheap. That's a way that I kind of balance it out.
Yeah, I saw that post as well on juicing the carrot head and radish head, and yeah, people usually throw them.
Yeah.
Carrot head is one of the most difficult thing to use. Here in Japan, they like making a tempura, but I mean that's something I would never touch. Tempura. If I eat tempura, like it would be quite an interesting trip for me. But yeah, so I have done carrot head, and that they're very strong. And so
Yeah.
you have mixed it with apple, is it?
Yeah, that's the only way that it tastes great. I tried it with other fruits, like I think orange sometimes, but with apples, it still tastes the best. Also, I used it when I had rosacea, I used it in smoothies, and I only used apple and mango if I did it with other fruits, but always with apple because otherwise it doesn't taste good.
You juice mango?
Yeah.
Wow. How much does the mango cost? One mango cost?
It depends on the quality. If you get a really high quality flight mango, then it can cost like €6 per piece. That's almost $6 per piece.
€6 is
US
like
dollar.
$9 or 10, even 10. Euro is euro is pretty strong. I can double check, but
Usually it's kind of almost the same. There's not much of a difference.
they keep on talking. I will double check because I do this quite often because my husband is French. But yeah, anyway, €6 for the quality one. That's what does it mean by quality one?
That's a really ripe flight mango. So that's the perfectly ripe one that is really delicious and yeah, the perfect one. And then there are the cheaper ones that are a bit more solid, not as ripe, but sometimes still acceptable and good. And they cost around like €2 to €3, depending on how much there is available and if there's a sale going on. Sometimes you even get them for €1, but then they also are very solid and unripe most of the time.
And where are they coming from?
Mostly from South America. But in the summer or end of the summer, when mango season in Spain is coming up, then we can also get them from Spain, and they are even better than the ones from South America because they're really ripe and seasonal.
I see.
And I've also once been in Spain or on a Canary Island during September when mango season was going on, and I had a mango tree in my yard where I could help myself out, as the landlord said, and it was absolutely amazing. My digestion never worked better than during that time.
Wow, that's fantastic. I just checked. It's €6 equals 6 9, well, almost $7 US dollar. I think US dollar has I don't check it every day, but it must have either euro has the value has gone down or dollar has gone up or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, here in Japan, do you know how much it cost? mango?
One mango. If you ask like that, probably 15 euros maybe per
Yeah.
piece.
So we have imported mangoes from Mexico and in the Philippines, and the most expensive one are from southern part of Japan. And my favorite, honestly the best mango ever, and I think it's not my husband confirms that it's the best mango. And I have also gifted to my clients, like American clients who has traveled quite a bit and eaten quite a bit of mangoes. They all say this is the best mango they have ever eaten. And this is from Miyazaki, the southern part of Japan. It's so good, but it costs 3,000 Japanese yen, which is, let's see, I check 3,000 yen in US dollars would be 20, a bit over 20, 20 $20. But it's so
Wow.
good. I also went to Costco just a few days ago, and they had Pakistani mango. Have you had Pakistani mango?
Yeah,
They're
they're my favorite.
oh yeah,
honey
they're
mangoes.
very intense and so sweet. But Miyazaki mango from Japan is even much better. But yeah,
Wow.
I'm happy to have different varieties. But yeah, the imported ones are cheaper here in Japan. Yeah. So, okay. Let's see. I just want to make sure that I have covered all the questions. Um, what does healthy mean to you, Eva?
Well, it means that I feel well in my body. I don't feel kind of tired all day long or have pain anywhere in my body, trouble breathing, something like that. And I'm just at peace with myself, so to say. And yeah, also kind of staying true to yourself, not doing things that you don't feel well with just because of others.
Can you repeat the last one that for others?
Yeah, like when you're going out, that you eat anything else just because others eat it as well, but you already know that you won't feel well the other day or the day after. That's what I don't do, because if I know that I feel very tired and lethargic the next day or drained out or anything, then I just don't do it because I think about the actions beforehand.
This last message is so powerful, and it's such an important thing. And I think I have battled with this for a long period of time. And it also depends on the personality. I was the social butterfly before, and I don't go out at all because it's just not worth it. I just felt terrible just because I wanted to please others. And the funny thing is that I had a close friend when I was living in New York, and when I changed the diet, people, like people close to me, they were so offended, and they were kind of violent uh, towards my new diet.
Wow.
And I remember one friend, she was quite opinionated and criticizing me, but and she was doing it, I think, thinking that this is good for me. But I remember even till this day that how she was like very, she was not shy in criticizing. And then she came to visit me some time ago, and first going vegan was like a huge thing, that you're not getting enough nutrition out of this diet. And she got me this Trader Joe's bag, which was like seafood based. I'm thinking, so why I am sharing this is because to show that people, they just forget. They might be violent in their action and whatever, but they forget next day. And we don't forget. Like, we live with what we eat, we become, and we are the one who have to go through this discomfort,
Yeah.
right? So you're very wise, but I think you have realized it much faster than I did. When were you able to clearly say, okay, no, I'm not touching that. That's not gonna serve me. So that's end of story. No one can force me. How long ago when you have?
Well, I've always kind of been different. And even when I wasn't eating a raw vegan diet, back when I did an internship in the US and everyone was eating burgers and fries with gravy, I thought, well, that doesn't really sound healthy. So I will just get myself a soup or a salad with something on top. And were eyed from people, but I didn't mind because I know that that's what I wanted, because I want to serve my body with the best food that I can.
Mhm.
And I don't want to mess it up with junk food, with cheap junk
Yeah.
food. And what I also noticed is that when people criticize us on our diet, it's not usually against us, it's more against themselves, because they see how healthy we eat and then they envy us and are also kind of frustrated because they wouldn't be able to be that disciplined to change their diet.
Mhm.
So they criticize us to make themselves feel better about their decisions.
When did you go to the States for that internship? Which year was it?
That was 2008.
Okay, so yeah, you were very conscious, like, because this is way before you became raw vegan.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's how it always was for me. I was always into eating healthy. And yeah, I went to the States for half a year and never ate a burger.
Wow.
But I went out a lot and went to Italian and Indian restaurants and all kind of that stuff. But I always chose the healthier options.
That's incredible. What was your upbringing though? Were you eating healthy? Well, healthy.
Yeah, back then, um, I didn't want to stuff my body with unhealthy stuff to kind of come back 10 pounds heavier than I left Germany,
Mm.
like most of the people experience. And I also wanted to feel well and energized.
So even though your upbringing, like teenagers as well, you were also eating healthy.
Not as much as a teenager, but kind of after I left school, maybe when it started, when I went to college and started cooking for myself. I kind of researched things and read about things and incorporated more and more of a healthy diet.
That's incredible that you paid attention to your diet and you were still having constipation and digestive issues, right?
Yeah, because back then I didn't know what I know now, that if you have a stagnant, sluggish liver and you eat fats, no matter which ones, if plant-based or animal-based, then it slows down your digestion. And back then I still ate something like yogurt, which was my favorite, and milk products, and obviously also some other fats
Mm.
that slow down my
How
digestion.
did you overcome all those? I don't know if you can call it food addiction. Was it easy for you to transition?
Getting rid of yogurt and milk was definitely hard, but I had to because I did a test for lactose, and that showed that I'm highly lactose
Uh-uh.
intolerant. So I had to give up yogurt and dairy products from one day to another. That's also the time when I discovered the raw vegan diet. And in the beginning, I started making my own yogurt, like with cashews or coconut. But it never tasted the same like the original one, so I wasn't really into it. And over time I didn't need it anymore.
Wow, that's incredible. You're very inspiring, and you have worked very hard to get to where you are now.
Yeah, I guess I was always very disciplined. That's what got me where I am.
Yes, discipline is another word that another word that I have of you as an image, because you have been doing this online, social media presence for like 10 years. How long you have been doing YouTube and
I started my Instagram as soon as I changed my diet, basically. So since 2014, I think it was when I started
oh
it.
wow. So you have been consistent.
Yeah. Most people would have maybe more followers, but I wasn't always that active in the past. Nowadays, I try to post something every day or every other day to stay
But
active.
that's
But I also had times when I didn't share a lot of things, especially when I had rosacea.
no, I think you did an amazing job sharing. I was quite impressed that you came out to YouTube and shared about your progress on rosacea, because most people would just want to, hide until you you heal. But I think it's more interesting, and we learn so much more from your journey. That's what I'm learning. We like no one is perfect. That's
No,
right. So my one last question is, what's your motivation to keep on going? Because there are not too many people who has been on the social media, constantly sharing their journey and recipe.
for me, it's basically how I live every day. And the foods that I eat every day are nowadays also what my body is craving and what I want to eat. And it's not, for me, it's not discipline anymore to eat that way because it's such a habit that I naturally crave it or want to have it.
That's fantastic. You are in a very peaceful place with what you eat. That's
Yeah,
fantastic. Well, this has been so inspiring, and I can keep on asking questions to Eva, but I want to be
I guess.
I want to be respectful of time. And whoever is watching on replay, or Ieda, who has joined and shared her knowledge, I really appreciate it. If you like this channel, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the like. I really appreciate it. I pour a lot of energy into it. And Eva, please go check her Instagram and her YouTube. Really well done. And this is all for
Thank you.
free. So thank you, Eva, for showing up and sharing your fantastic recipe. And again, thank you so much for coming to my channel. It's been an honor to get to know you and to ask you directly.
It's been an honor for me you too to get interviewed by you and meet you.
Okay. Yes, anytime. Thank you so much for joining. And Eva, do you have anything else before we close to share to people who might be?
No, I thank you. I just want to thank you for inviting me to the interview and yeah, sharing more about my story so maybe people get inspired and yeah, maybe help them to get better.
Fantastic. Yes, that's why we are here, right? We don't want anyone else to go through the
Yeah.
same kind of tough journey on health. So that's my motivation as well. So thank you again, Eva.
Thank you
Thank
too.
you. Well, bye to everyone for now, and see you next time.
Bye.